What doest thou here? Elijah was out of communion with God. Elijah that was once so bold had become a coward. Elijah that had been up to this hour so successful, had taken his eyes off of his master, and had fled out into the desert and sat down under the juniper tree and wished himself dead. Some of you may have become discouraged and disheartened. You haven't had the success that you expected to have in Christian work. You have got your eyes off of the master, and you have fled out into the desert, and you are trying to live a sort of hermit life. My dear friends, what we want, it seems to me, is to get right into the heat of battle and stay there until the master calls us home. I would rather die than to outlive my usefulness. I would rather have the summons come right now than to live and not to be used of God. I cannot conceive of a greater calamity coming upon Elijah, the man that had been so wonderfully used, than to die there discouraged and disheartened. I would like to die in the harness. One of Scotland's great preachers has brought out this thought: the wanderer was alone, yet not alone. A voice he could neither mistake nor misinterpret had sounded in his ears the thrilling question, "What doest thou here, Elijah?" Every syllable was pregnant with meaning and with rebuke. What doest thou here? Life, and none should know better than thee, is a great doing, not hermit inaction, in glorious repose. What doest thou? Thou, my vice-regent, a person appointed by a ruler to act as an administrative deputy, in these degenerate days, thou whom I have honored above thy fellows, and who hast had proof upon proof of my faithfulness? What doest thou here in this desolate spot, away from duty, the Baal altars rebuilding, my own altar in ruins, the sword of persecution unsheathed, and the bleeding flock left by thee, coward shepherd, to the ravening wolf? What doest thou here, Elijah? Thy very name rebukes thee. Where is God, thy strength? Where are the prayers and vows of Carmel? Child of weakness, belying thy name. And destiny, what doest thou here? At this time Elijah missed the opportunity of his life, it never returned to him again. God permitted him to cast his mantle on Elisha, but when he came to the very place where God would have used him mightily, he fled like a coward. Many of us miss grand opportunities. If God calls you to some service, do not stop to discuss whether it is a higher service or not, leave that to Him. If God calls you, say, "Here am I, send me." What doest thou here? Are you out of communion with God? Has some cursed sin come in and separated you from God, and your life is like a blasted tree in the desert without any power? If so, ask Him to forgive you. Return with your whole heart unto Him, and He will use you mightily. Depend upon it, God's work done in God's way will never lack supplies.